Hello and welcome to Sam Dan's Couch. In this video I will give you a first look at the DualSense Controller of the PlayStation 5 and how to already play with it without even having to have a PlayStation 5 console at home. Also I'll show you all the advancements Sony made making the next generation of PlayStation controllers even better. The controller comes in a box which is very tightly packaged together. Sony left us a stenciled half circle to help us pull out the box from its outside wrapper. The DualSense has a very sleek design, with its contrasting black and white color scheme. The directional pad and the action buttons are made out of a transparent plastic that almost looks like ice. The rubberized analog sticks feel very nice too. Hopefully the rubber will be long lasting. Sony's first generation of PlayStation 4 controllers had the issue that the rubber would wear out really quickly. This was fixed a little later on by changing the rubber that was being used to make the DualShock 4. I'm confident though that the rubber on these controllers are done right from the start. The touchpad is smooth this time, compared to the textured surface of the DualShock 4. Also there is no backlight anymore, only a light surrounding the touchpad itself, showing the state of the connection or if the controller is charging. Underneath the touchpad is another LED array that shows which player number the controller is assigned to. Since there is no backside backlight, it makes sense that the DualSense controllers are not compatible with PlayStation VR games. You'll have to continue to use your DualShock 4 on the PlayStation 5 console. Underneath the touchpad we have the PlayStation Home button. Instead of being a simple round button, the button itself has the shape of the PlayStation logo, which is pretty neat. Underneath the Home button is an LED that shows if the internal microphone is muted or active, which will be a very handy visual feature when talking to friends online. Below that status LED, the microphone itself is located, and below that are the ports for charging and connecting a headset. On the top left we have a Create button for streaming and game captures, and an Option button on the top right, just like it was the case on the DualShock 4. At last we have a USB-C port to charge our controller. A USB-C plug is much easier to plug in compared to the annoying micro USB port from the last generation. You can also use a physical USB-C cord to play with your controller, not using the wireless connection. And of course you can also charge your internal controller battery over the USB-C port, if you are not using the optional charging station from Sony. Just like the DualShock 4, the DualSense has an internal speaker, which I always enjoyed on the PlayStation 4. I'm looking forward to developers make even more use of the speaker. Motion controls are also back, with a built-in accelerometer and gyroscope. The controller backside and grips are textured just like the PlayStation 5 camera or the PlayStation 5 console itself, with the iconic triangle, circle, square and X when you look very closely. The DualSense feels nice and very sturdy in your hands. It also feels a little more wide compared to its predecessor. When you hold tightly onto the controller you don't feel any of the plastic shifting. It is the total opposite of being flimsy. It is also a little heavier, though not by much. The DualSense weighs 8.8 ounces. Or 249 gram, while the DualShock 4 weighs 7.8 ounces, or 221 gram. The most exciting features of the PlayStation 5 controller are the haptic feedbacks and the adaptive triggers. Without a PS5 console and a game that supports it, I can't test this feature just yet, but from what I heard it's going to be a big feature and a big advantage over the new Xbox controller. With these features you're supposed to feel, for example, a muddy road in racing games, the metal of a sword when you have a sword fight, or the trigger buttons physically becoming more resistant or locking completely, like a gun jamming in a first-person shooter. Here are some old controllers to compare the DualSense to. The original DualShock 4 from a launch PlayStation 4. A recent DualShock 4. A DualShock 1 from the PlayStation 1 era. And the Xbox One Elite version 2 controller. Since we are still more than a week away from the US launch of the PS5 console, I decided to test the DualSense out by connecting it to different devices I already own. I was not able to connect it to my iPhone X or my Windows 10 wirelessly. I succeeded though connecting it wirelessly to my MacBook Pro running macOS 10 Catalina. In Windows 10 I got the controller to work by hooking it up with a USB-C cord. I was able to use the controller in Steam. Just go into Settings of Steam and map the buttons of the controller accordingly to the picture of a generic controller displayed on the left side of the settings. Here I am playing some BioShock. And hey, what would be more important these days than to have a great controller for this game? Baby Yoda ist das. And that's it for this first look at the PlayStation 5 DualSense Controller. I hope you enjoyed this first look and could get some extra information about it. I will review the entire PlayStation 5 system as soon as I get it this month, as well as the Xbox Series X. So please like and subscribe to this channel to never miss a new video from us. Also check out our Twitch channel to see some live gameplay directly captured from the two next generation systems. Thank you and see you next time on Sam Dan's Couch.